Gratuitous evil. Evil that occurs and seems to have no greater good in sight. Painful deaths of humans and animals in a sudden forest fire could be an example of a gratuitous evil. I'm wearing my eyeglasses today in this video for two reasons. One, I have a pimple right under the bridge of the glasses here. And two, as I'm responding to this objection and the argument from gratuitous evil, I'm also presenting my own theodicy, so I need to look a bit smart. And this theodicy, I have run through some of my apologist and philosopher friends, some of you may know them, and received good feedback on it. So it's time to share it with the YouTube world. But a little disclaimer first, and I want to be clear on this. I am not claiming that nobody within the last 2000 years of rich Christian intellectual history haven't thought of my theodicy here before me. But of all the many shapes and forms of skeptical theism, free will and greater good responses to the argument from gratuitous evil, I have personally not seen a response framed exactly how I have put it here. So let's get to it. Before I really dig in, please allow me 2 minutes to lay some groundwork and build my case. The skeptic argument from gratuitous evil against the existence of God is nothing new for Christians. It's not like this is an argument in all its shapes and forms that has been left unaddressed for the last 2000 years by Christian theologians, apologists and philosophers. Still, this argument from gratuitous evil is one of the best versions of the problem of evil argument against theism. My theodicy is presented in a way that requires skeptics to do an internal critique of the Christian faith. And response also involves free will, which is an orthodox Christian doctrine, though defined somewhat differently in certain denominations. Now boiled down in the ultimate sense, there are no categories of evil, just evil in its full entirety. And evil is not a thing, it's a privation of something. A privation of right order in the creaturely will. It's the absence of good. To illustrate, think in physics. Cold is a privation of heat. Cold does not have any positive ontological status. There isn't really a thing called cold. Cold. Rather, cold is an absence of heat. But that does not mean that cold isn't real. We all know it, especially home in Norway on a cold winter day. Another way to look at it, it's in a way kind of like if you take the rust out of a car, you have a better car. But if you take the car out of the rust, you have nothing.
Dude, where's my car? Where's your car, dude?
Now evil most definitely exists, but for the sake of the argument, let's also grant that such thing as gratuitous evil exists. Human beings are created in the image of God, created to be a part of His family, to be a part of a kingdom and something much bigger than flying around in heaven with wings and playing harps for eternity. Could it be that evil as a whole, horrendous, repeating and gratuitous included, will play a big role in that the saints will never sin, rebel and do evil in heaven and the new earth to come, but have the knowledge, experience and the desire to not sin because of it? For the same reasons that we from childhood experience no longer, for example, put animal feces, dirt and sand in our mouths anymore. Or for the same reasons we in life decide not to jam a pen into our eye or jump out of an airplane without a parachute. Because we as humanity has learned and observed the fatal consequences such actions have had in the life of other humans up through history. Is it not then possible that in this finite life, that one of the reasons God allows the existence and actualization of evil as a whole, which includes horrendous evil, repeating evil, and gratuitous evil, is so that we, Christians, the church as a whole, will have the complete knowledge and experience of what damage evil does and is capable of doing in its fullness existence, if brought into reality by sinning and rebelling against the sovereign God. At the fall in the beginning, man chose to know good and evil, in our own timing, doing it our own way, instead of trusting our Creator, the sovereign God and His Word. We instead, on earth, actualized evil, which is the privation of good. But God in His perfect wisdom works all things together for good. So after all this, our collective experience and knowledge of evil including for the angels and spirits that have experienced and observed all the evil in this fallen world from the unseen realm, on top of being in the war and the first fall in heaven. Our collective experience and knowledge of evil and its full potential as a whole in this finite life will prevent another fall in eternity, resulting in wholly glorified bodies for us, the Church, whom, based on what I unpacked here, freely, for eternity, will not sin and rebel against God in heaven and in the new world to come. Which also means that if my theodicy is true, gratuitous evil is not actually gratuitous.